What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a new YouTube video, and today I thought we would do something different. I just took you along to a full week of training. This is the week of training after my previous deload week, and I can tell you nothing crazy happened on the Saturday training in last week's deload. We just did, I believe, some light single on deadlifts with 260. Other than that, there was really no highlights. I was just trying to recover and pumping blood into my legs and trying to mitigate the effects of my knee swelling and the injury that I potentially have. And so this was the first week back after just basically being forced to deload due to the injury. And me telling myself, hey, if we take one deload and maybe have very chill intro back into another block, we can still push for the next 5 weeks and then arrive at a good result in competition. So basically what I originally thought was that I would compete raw at a regional competition here to also get my qualification total for the next nationals. But the thing is that I'm also starting in the Bundesliga, or that's here in Germany. That's basically the Division 1, I guess, of powerlifting. This is also affiliated with the BVDK, so the IPF affiliate in Germany. It's basically a team competition in powerlifting. It's heavily dependent on equipment. So most of the lifters competing there are competing equipped single ply equipment just by the IPF rules and the IPF rule books. And I will compete in the next year in the Bundesliga. And during the planning of the next year's schedule and everything, I remember that I was supposed to compete in January. So end of January is the first Bundesliga competition day, Division 1 competition day here in Germany. And so I will compete single ply. This was a decision that I made throughout the week. I didn't make it on Wednesday that we're seeing right now. Wednesday I just did my normal squat day, so to say. It's my primary squat. I did hit a triple at 235, but I'm not grinning because I'm smiling because it's so easy, but rather I'm usually grinning or smiling that way when I'm trying to concentrate or focus myself, and also when I'm in pain. And this session was very, very uncomfortable. I was in a lot of pain. My swelling was definitely noticeable, and also due to the fact that sleeves are a bit weird in their compression. Over time it really started hurting, or my leg started hurting. And so over the course of the week I also talked a bit to the other athletes there in the gym, and one athlete in particular changed my mind because she told me that it makes more sense for me to now focus on equipped either way, because next year I anyways didn't want to compete raw. The only reason I wanted to do the competition in a couple of weeks raw was to just hit the 800 total raw and set a new personal best. This was the only reason I wanted to really do the competition. It's just a minor regional competition, no big championship or nothing. I just wanted to personally hit that goal of being able to have the strength for 800 kg total and bring that to the platform and make it official, so to say. Thinking about it, I think the goal was totally fine, and I think it's best whenever you are really intrinsically motivated, because then you have more of a proper why you're pushing your body and what you want to achieve. But sometimes external motivation can also be very, very helpful. And I'm not talking about money meets or anything. There are really no money meets in powerlifting except for at the highest level of competition. And so the external motivator that was really motivating me to, one, change up and take a step back and not compete, but also start prepping or preparing to prep for equipped single ply, was just due to the fact that I first need my qualification total. I still need it, but also the fact that maybe with me having become so much stronger raw, we can translate that into a decent single ply total. And a decent single ply total would bring, or would have potentially crazy effects on the possibility of maybe also competing on an international stage. Now, I'm not saying I'm anywhere near that. These are just hypotheses and dreams and wishes and aspirations and all the things that are not manifested yet and are not really a reality. So I do acknowledge that. But sometimes you also need this dream and maybe this bigger story around it to push your body. And with my knee, it has been, and it probably will always be, a little bit of a mental hurdle that I have to get over with. This having said, I am aware that equipped will not get easier. However, the knee reps, so in equipped powerlifting in single play specifically, you have knee reps. Knee reps are just like long band-aids, which you can wiggle, or like which you can wrap around your knee. That's why they're called reps. The amount of compression you can generate there is, I would say, a little larger than with normal sleeves. Even though the newer stiff sleeves, they are really like compressing crazily, especially at the bottom of the hole. But all around the lift, I would say the compression with reps is definitely higher, and reps do give or do favor more stability. And this is why I'm aiming for trying to now squat from now on in knee reps to save my knee a bit, take some pressure off, and also grow accustomed to it. Because with the change in equipment, there will also be a change in techniques, and I will have to go back to heels for equipped to stay more upright during the lift, to not fold, and make it more easy for myself to follow all the equipped cues, which are probably not applicable to raw. You know, when you talk to powerlifters and they give you cues like sit back or push your knees outside during the squat. These are all cues that come from the days of equipment, because many don't know, but powerlifting is, or like raw powerlifting did not exist until maybe beginning of 2010, 2011, something around there. There was when the first raw powerlifting meets started popping up, and before that it was all like single ply and or multiply, obviously. I think multiply is still being done today, but not to the extent it has been. Huge amount of it being like that legends like Louis Simmons and people like this are not in the sport anymore. But basically what I'm trying to say is that I am in hope that the equipment will help me to tolerate and get over the pain and discomfort that I'm currently feeling in my knee. And also it gives me a chance to reset. Now, due to the accumulation of fatigue and also the poor load management of the last few weeks, I also had the ability to reflect on the past blocks and reflect what I could do better. And maybe some things I could change in my favor, negate or mitigate, or at least control the effects of heavy loads on my knee. So what we're going to do going forward, I mean, I will show you guys in the next coming videos when I'm starting to record my training sessions again. But basically, there is a round about 5-week block, actually 6-week block from now on that I'm gonna do. So 6 consecutive weeks of training until I am on vacation. And after that, we have 2 blocks, so 2 3+1 blocks to hop into the equipment and start prepping for the first meet in January, and then follow right up. So basically not really properly peak on January, but like do I would say heavier training on the platform to get the qualifying total, to then also compete in February at the German Nationals equipped. And there I need a really solid total. As I said before, I won't say the numbers yet because I am not yet in a position to know or to estimate roughly where my strength levels are equipped, but it will be a huge total if I can hit it. And it will also be very cool to see the progression. That being said, I have to also make my training from now on very clever. I am still planning it as of right now. Like literally, I am talking right now. I have written my new plan, but I am still unsure about a couple of things. And one of the things being is that I may have to reduce from 2 times a week of squatting to 1 times a week of squatting. Why is that? Because obviously I am not squatting heavy 2 times a week. I have 1 heavy squat day and 1 lighter day. And I'm thinking of mixing these 2 days into just 1 day where I have just like maybe 1 heavy set of 5, maybe 1 mid heavy or like average heavy set of sounds so weird, but basically just taking off 10% and doing like a second back off of 5, and then maybe doing 2 sets of 8 or something to gain some volume. So what I really need is, or what I want to do is get back into some kind of territory where it's light weights or lighter weights with the ability to also pump up some blood into my legs, meaning I also need to increase some of the volume. I cannot really always do repetitions in the range of, I don't know, 3 to 5, but rather I have to push it to 8 to 10. And that also means I need to push these reps on squats, and I also need to include or re-include some of the accessories. This is a fickle thing to plan because you also don't want to go overboard on your accessories to not over fatigue you. But then again, my knee is weak at the moment. So would it make sense to really go super heavy on a squat day? I don't think so. Rather focus on just getting 100% pain free, just being stable and just getting or growing custom back or getting back to squatting with heels will already set me up and set me up for success in equipment and be a total game changer. And also the other thing I'm basically thinking about is doing a 4-week block where I'm just doing raw, and then for the last 2 weeks of this block I'll just hop in semi equipment. What is that? That's basically meaning like I'll just put on the suit but have the top down, or like halfway have it on for equip, for example, for the squats and deadlifts. And I'm sorry for not having talked you through the lifts, but I guess you got the gist of the lifts of the first week being back in the background. Appreciate you guys watching and wish you guys all the love, all the power. Have a good one.